I'm listening to The Cure and I'm reviewing all the stuff I bought at the library book sale for $6 fill it bag. And my mom got like really heavy cookbooks, so I took up almost half the bag. But I didn't really find anything else like to fill up the rest of the bag that would overfill it. I found only like 30 books and 2 DVDs. This was $3 from the first day of the book sale Friday because I wanted to make sure I got it for someone else did, because it's obviously Jim Morrison. Even though he didn't write it, I still really wanted it. This is Red Butler Rock and Roll Ground Movie. Never seen it, but it looks good. And Salem's Lot, the new one dropped low. And the last few books I'm going to show are books like that you wouldn't expect me to read, or like authors not many people know I would read or even be interested in. And my next video is going to be like the video of like 3 of my favorite authors ever, and you'd be surprised that I read them because they're romance. But anyways, this room is missing. I know there's a room before. This is like the art room. It's such a guest room. It's really messy. This was the movie with Edward Norton I have. It's a crime, New York, and there's obviously a mob. And it's a really good movie with Edward Norton. I wanted to read the book. And there's unfortunately not a section for books that are turned into movies. And this, more by a fan. This, not like a sequel or anything, but it got good reviews from the author of Blood and Chocolate, and it's about a girl being friends by the crime of the vampire. It sounded interesting. It's not like a series or a sequel, so easier to read that way. I got 2 cookbooks. Candy, first one, Mylar or something. And vegetarian, because all the vegetarian vegan ones, like, there were none. This is in volume 6. I have a few other ones, and Roll wrote Stranger Beside Me by Ted Bundy, and that's why I'm interested in her, because she writes other true crime. And there's always awesome pictures in the books too. And this is the second one I bought. I have the first one for Pirates of the Caribbean book. Obviously awesome pictures there, Johnny. This is Anne Rule writing as her pen name, Andy Stack, and it's about a highway killer, and it's a real crime, obviously. That's all she writes. This is my favorite one because serial killers from like mainly the 19th century, and obviously John Gacy, Ted Bundy, Arlen Warren, Nelson Lucas, etc. And it's the best one I think I found, besides the Jim Morrison. And I have never heard of this killer. There's pictures, the savage serial killer the world has ever known, and he's from the Soviet Union, so it's a Russian killer. So I guess he's the most dangerous killer of like Europe. And Summer Stein. I've heard this one, I've never read it, I don't have it. The Stepsister. I don't know how much the Fear Street. Except like the Halloween ones and like babysitter ones and stuff. This one, like library copies, all the Fear Street. I just started getting into the Fear Street. And I've always wanted to read this one. Don't have it. Didn't have it before though. And this is the 3rd dummy one. And I have like a hardback collection of the first 3 Living Dummies, but I forgot. But I prefer paperback anyway. I have separate like copies of all those. Anyway, newer Goosebumps I found, which I've never even heard of this one. This one, I really wanted it. It's the 4th one. And I haven't read it yet. And I really wanted to before. And I never heard of this one either, which is great. And all the other Goosebumps I already had that I saw there. And then Crimes, Dumb Criminals is kind of like World's Dumbest Criminals, except Dumbest Crimes by random people. And it's a good author of a few of his books. Always true crime. And this one about a serial killer in Texas that only kills women. So it's kind of like the Ted Bundy of Texas, though. So this one came with a bookmark, cupcakes from Lane. And it sounds good because it's fiction about like mystery thriller, psychological of a fictional killer. And it got awards and stuff. And it was a popular seller. So. In the books, you'd be surprised, Lord Foster, and it's also Christmas. I read her short stories, and she's good and original. So that's why I like her. And this is like, not a short story, it's a regular book, just her writing. Embarrassing, right? I haven't read like romance ever until like 2 years ago I started. This is mainly like werewolf, love, romance, Harlequin. And Carly Phillips, Hot Property. I've read her series like Simply Sensual, Simply Hot, Simply etc. And she's not that bad. And if it's only like less than a buck, why not get it? And I've only heard this author, Lorelei, but the short story is about like, kind of like, I guess the Crossfire series, different women with different types of guys. I don't know. And Maggie Shane, I read her short stories like about werewolves and her vampire books, but this one's about a couple in the 19th century and they're witches and stuff. And the leader of the witches and the witchcraft like falls in love with like this guy who like kidnaps him and holds him hostage at sea. And it's kind of interesting that it's like older like, romance. And my next video will be reviewing books I've read so far by 3 authors you've never guessed I read, but they're my top 10 favorite authors of all time. And those authors are Zane, Megan Hart, and Sylvia Day. And yeah, I have like all of Zane's books, except a few short stories. And I have like all Megan Hart's except her short stories and her non-romance books I don't have. Or a few of her newer books too I don't have that are romance. But that, basically, I also have almost all Sylvia Day, except a few of her series that Beyond Crossfire. I even have Entwined with You signed from Barnes & Noble. It was less than $20 too with all the tax and shipping. And yeah, I really want to review that, so I'll do that in my next video, reviewing the books I read of those authors and why I like them and why obviously you don't think they would interest me, but why they do. And that video will be in a week, or hopefully sooner, but no later than a week from now.